Episode 3, we're here with the co-founder, creative director, CEO of Prettyboy Co, along with founder of his other business, Prettyboy The Plug. How are we feeling?
Good. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
What?
Appreciate it.
So let's get started. I know you have two different ventures, one of them being the clothing streetwear brands, the other one being more sneakers. So we'll get into more of that in the second half. But as far as your Prettyboy and Co, the clothing brand,
Yeah.
how did you get started with that?
Okay. Yeah. So I started. Well, basically, me and a couple of my friends, Cam, this kid named Kamar, and then Jav, who's the co-founder with me right now.
Mm-hmm.
We started we basically started like an Instagram page to sell shoes. So it was like an outlet where we put our shoes, like Supreme items, like we sold like a couple clothing things too. And then we made like a couple of shirts. And I remember me and Cam we all had made the logo. And then we and Cam had rocked the shirts at a sneaker event, like called Sneaker Con.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was like taking pictures of it and thought it was cool. And we had just made it as some merch just for us to have. And we're like, we should make some shirts. So we all ended up making shirts. And then we like went from there. Like I remember I was selling t-shirts, dad hats out the trunk of my car. Just trying to get the brand off the ground. And then it slowly evolved. And we were like, damn, like, why are we even selling like shoes and stuff on here? Like we gotta just make this a brand.
Yeah.
And then once we made it a brand, like we just started applying a lot of pressure, and like things just started like getting bigger and bigger as time like went on.
Yeah. And as your tagline states, you're the plug's plug.
Yeah. And that's from shoes.
Yeah. That's super cool. And you supply everyone with streetwear as as it states.
Mm-hmm.
But you truly like sell it all, from even now face mask and like slides. So what goes into that design process and like clothing selections?
We just like, this is me personally. We're all super into streetwear. Well, we all were. And then when Cam and Kamar started working with us, me and Java, we have a huge passion about streetwear. So we just like really like analyze the trends and stuff and see what's cool. And I've always looked up to this brand Supreme, and like how they had like a brand where it was so simple yet so clean. Like they had everything. They had boxers, they had motorbikes, they had diamond rings, like they had everything you could think of. And I kind of wanted to have my brand have a catalog that kind of went along with that, like from everything. You could have t-shirts, hats, hoodies, like the basics, and then have some like crazy accessories like a ski mask or like a face mask, anything like of that nature,
Right. Yeah. So with I know early designs, I peeped, it was like more camo and variations of styles, even like Sherpa jackets. So how do you make sure you're always putting out new things, evolving?
We gotta always just be making stuff. Like you can't be content. Like you can't have like 2-3 pieces and think like, oh, okay, like this is it. Like we're just gonna push this for the season. Like nah, like you gotta always be thinking like we'll plan collections, drops like years in advance. Like I'll have stuff that we made like probably like 2 years ago, and we'll still have it. Like we haven't even dropped it, and it's just ready to go. So we just got stuff that we've been working on for a minute, and we'll just kind of stash it and just wait for the right time. And we'll kind of have like a lot of stuff planned out, of like windbreakers, like other jackets like that nobody's even seen before. And that's kind of just stuff that I'll have tucked away. And then when the moment comes, like it'll come.
You got to keep it ready in the vault.
Exactly. We'll have it stashed away in the vault, and like, and when the time comes, we're ready. Yeah.
That's good. And I know you mentioned you kind of took inspiration from Supreme.
Yeah.
What makes Prettyboy Co different? Like why? What do you want to present through your brand?
I mean, it's more grassroots. It's more streetwear. That's more skater. Mm-hmm. This is more like athletic and like just some fly shit you put on like when you're about to go chill or you're about to go out. Like you can throw it on whenever. it's very versatile. So I think that's kind of like Supreme is versatile. Don't get me wrong, but it's also like you literally you can wear a Pretty Boy when you go to play basketball, when you go to work out. Like it's just something you could always wear because there's so many versatile styles, design, like versatile like items and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you could, I kind of wanted to make it where you could rock it like whenever. You know?
Anywhere, everywhere. Yeah.
Is it working?
So moving on, we go to school together, Loyola Marymount University.
Yep.
You're an entrepreneurship major. So how do you juggle being a student and having such a successful brand?
It's really difficult. Like I struggle a lot in school. Like I'm very open about how much I struggle in school, but school is very very difficult for me because I often find myself distracted trying to balance my social life with academics and with having 2 businesses. So honestly, I make it happen. I just make it happen. No excuses.
Okay.
So whether it's staying up late, whether it's waking up early, I just do it and I get my work done because I'm at school to get an education. So I'm definitely trying to make sure I get my education. And if I cat off sometimes, but you know, I I make up for it on the back end, you know, finals time, I figure things out.
Yeah. So what are the main, with being an entrepreneurship major, has there anything that has helped you in those classes? Like honestly, truthfully?
Honestly, truthfully, no. But I have liked some classes. Like I had a really cool marketing class last year with Professor Stevel. That was cool. But other than that, like I feel like I could be using the time I'm using the classes to further grow my businesses and maybe get a little bit farther. Like, I don't know, that it's kind of like backtracking, but it's definitely interesting. I don't know. I just feel like my professors, like, especially like in my specific business classes, like they just don't really understand me and like how I work. So they're not as helpful as they could be, but I'm also like kind of like a standoffish student. So like, I won't be like the kid always raising his hand. Right. The kid, like I'll be the kid sleeping in class, like coming in a little bit late. Like I'm not like the perfect student. So I guess maybe that's why I don't connect with my professors as well. Like I definitely try to make a connection, but I haven't seen like a whole lot of benefit from the classes, but I'm hoping like maybe this last year, like I'll get something. Yeah.
So have you ever, you talk about struggling, have you ever thought of dropping out?
I've thought about it, but I don't think I ever would because I haven't promised myself and my parents that I would graduate college. Yeah. Just like, it's just like a personal thing. Like I just wanted to do it. And like, if everything were to fail, like it would definitely be nice to have like that little degree to fall back on. Right. And yes, so I've definitely thought about it, but I had so much fun at school to ever actually do it. Like I would be late to class and fuck up on my grades before I dropped out. Like I don't think I ever could, to be honest. Yeah.
I see that. Yeah. And now you were from the Bay Area, obviously moved to LA for school, and it's cool because LA is like the hub for fashion and culture. So do you see any impact that the city has had on you personally?
Yeah, of course, for sure. I think being in LA has been super beneficial just for the connections I've made out here. I started to be able to make a whole new different amount of like a bunch of different clothes out here. Like I couldn't make some of the stuff I can make out here is way different than stuff I can make in the Bay. Like being in LA, being in LA, it's a no-brainer. As for having a brand and for being a businessman, there's a lot more connections and a lot more opportunity out here. Because at home, like I just feel limited. Like I was up there for like 2 months for the quarantine thing. Yeah. And I was just like, I was going crazy. Like I couldn't do anything. Like I felt helpless. So I had to get back out here to wear my mask, make some business happen.
Yeah. And a cool thing is I peeped you had your first pop-up in the Bay and then shortly after in LA on Fairfax, which is crazy. So what was that like for you?
Well, the Bay Area one, that was like Pablo's always been a goal of mine. Like that was something we had always wanted to do, but we had wanted to make sure we were big enough first.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Bay Area one, that was last summer. That was like one of the best times of my life, one of the best weekends. Like Hall of Fame weekend for sure. We really it was really crazy, like to see like on our first pop-up, like we had no idea how it would go. Like we put a lot of money into it, a lot of thought, a lot of time, and we had like a huge line. Like when before we even opened, there was kids like lining down the block, and it was crazy seeing that. So Bay Area one was sick, and then Fairfax, like I've been growing up on Fairfax. Like ever since I came to Fairfax like 7-8 years ago, like I fell in love with it. So to have a store on there for a weekend was like, that was an incredible feeling. And to see all the support, like from my friends, family, and then people I didn't even know, like people were pulling up that I didn't even know. And that was crazy, especially being in LA. Cause like a lot of people categorize it as a Bay Area brand, but like we're really global now. So like to see like the support we have, and like, even as we're semi-establishing ourselves in LA, it's still like crazy seeing like random people that we've never met pulling up to the LA store and getting their merch. Like it's definitely dope. So the LA one was sick. I think the Bay Area one, I want to do like once this whole pandemic thing ends, I want to do another one up there because that was crazy. Like it was a different level. But LA was sick too. Like down the line, like if I even did like at an even bigger location in LA too, that would be a goal of mine for sure.
It's crazy. I feel like so many people dream of that, and like having people line up for your clothing line is crazy.
Crazy feeling for sure.
Yeah. So is that what keeps you motivated, or what are some of the things that inspire you?
Just like everyday support from like my friends, people hitting me up like, yo, like this new stuff is dope. Like just hearing like that, like just keeps me going. Like if there's one person willing to buy my stuff, like that's always going to keep me going, like always going to keep me motivated. And just seeing like the support, like overall, just I'm self-motivated. So for me, like I just want to be successful. I want to keep growing my businesses. I want to keep I just like working hard. Like that's just me. So for me, I just need, like, I got a little bit extra motivation from friends or people that know me or people that I know. And then I see that, and that's just like fuel to the fire.
Yeah.
Just keep going. Like, yeah, I don't need like a whole lot of motivation though. But if people telling me like, yo, like keep going, bro, you're going crazy. Like that's a good feeling.
Yeah.
So,
that little extra push. What are some advice that you can give to anyone that wants to create their own, business?
If you want to have your own brand, I think you should understand that it's not like an overnight kind of thing. Like unless you're like a famous athlete or like somebody that has a huge following, like you're gonna have to really build it from the ground up. You're gonna have to put a lot of time and effort into it, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. So if you want to have a brand, like definitely put the time in. Understand that it's a marathon, not a sprint. You gotta like slowly grind out every release. Make sure your stuff's on point. Focus on the little things and just do what you can do. And then I think understand that that's not easy. It's to get to where I'm at right now. And I still haven't fully mastered it. So I'm still learning every day. So just always be willing to learn, do research, don't be afraid to ask for help either. Like ask other people that you've seen be successful in the field, try to get them on a phone call, try to get them on a stuff. But at the same time, like people aren't going to give you free game like that. Like I'm not going to tell people how I do it. Like the real secrets, like I can't give that away. Like people aren't gonna like tell you the exact way, but like if you start learning, you start hanging around people that are successful and just see how successful people rock, like you can be successful. So I would recommend anybody to try to become a reseller, try to start a clothing brand. Like it's definitely dope, but it definitely takes a lot more work and time than people forget. Like I'll be working like in the summer like 100 hours a week.
Yeah.
Like just because I'm always on my phone, always like trying to find something to flip or trying to like design something or trying to do something. So like people don't understand that there's like a lot more that goes into it. They think it's just like, oh, like you just make some clothes and you just put it on the internet and it sells. Like, nah, like there's a lot more time that goes into it. Like I'll be staying up late, waking up early. Like that's just how I roll. And like the free time, like hanging out with friends and stuff, like you could definitely do that. But like during the day, like all day I'm working, like I might hang out with some friends at night, but
Yeah.
like during the day I'm doing my stuff. So you got to be willing to be disciplined and be focused and just really like, oh, and also you need to have like a little bit of cash to invest, like some cash to invest would be nice.
Yeah.
So, but then like just keep flipping, and over time, like things can definitely grow. Like I think anybody can become successful for sure with the right mindset and the grind.
Yeah, mindset definitely is key. I feel like you said, you have to be disciplined. You got to be kind of wired different to, put in
Exactly.
the time.
Yeah,
How did
exactly.
when did you exactly see a rise in your business? Like,
Well, if the show started going like super crazy when Bronny wore one of our hoodies, we had like a PB&J hoodie,
yeah,
and it went on like ESPN Sports Center, everything with like pictures of him and LeBron. And
yeah,
like after that posted, like our social media was going crazy, like Instagram jumping, like, and this was before Bronny had an IG. So it was like crazy. People were like, how the hell does he have this? Like blah, blah, like, and just seeing that, and it was like getting posted on House of Highlights, also like all the crazy websites. So like our website traffic just started going crazy. Like I think that year, that was like the start. Like I was like a January, I think, and like our website traffic went up like 300% or something.
wow,
Yeah, we had a lot of visitors. So that's like kind of like, but like I think like when I came out to LA, things just slowly started like getting bigger and bigger, and our like production was like going up and up, and like our orders were going up and up, because like I think a lot of people like started like the brand, like the professionalism of the brand started growing, like, and the notoriety. So people started like really like fun. Like I had to like, yeah, the show. Once I came to LA, like stuff started going up the
yeah,
show. But after Bronny wore that hoodie, like it was raps damn near. Like
yeah.
it was, everybody was posting it, and it was just like our social media was going crazy.
You talked about Clientele, as you mentioned, Bronny James, and then other high school hoopers like Mikey
Mhm.
Williams, NBA players, Trey
Mhm.
Young.
Mhm.
So how did you, go from creating the business to expanding your clientele, working
Mhm.
and creating those networks and relationships?
Basically, I was a basketball player in high school. I was solid. I wasn't like a great player or anything, but yeah, I played varsity. Like I did my thing when I got my playing time. But I basically just networked. A couple of my friends I was real close with, like, put me in touch with a couple of hoopers, and they started fucking with it, and then it just started growing from there. So like as like more and more people like started wearing it, it was just like I would have a DM from Michael Porter like Jr. saying like I want some stuff. Like LaMelo hit me, I want some stuff. Like,
Yeah.
and it just started like slowly like going up from there. And like one person wore it, and like, and everybody else was like, it was like kind of like, it was kind of like a, what's it, domino effect.
Yeah.
Like once like Sharif was the first person to really fuck with it and wear it like all the time, and he
Hmm.
was like always posting it, always shouting it out. And then like a year later, LaMelo wore it, and then like after LaMelo wore it, like everybody wanted it because he had kind of established himself as like one of the best high school players.
Right.
So, and then from then on, like then it was just like after the LA pop up, I had actually given we gave like I gave like some gear to Trey after like that pop up on like the Sunday. So
Yeah.
Trey and like some of his teammates, like they wanted some gear, so I had to pull up there in town.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
And then you mentioned that you played basketball in high school.
Mhm.
Did you ever have dreams of playing professionally?
Oh, of course. Like so that's why it's so cool seeing all like these top hoopers wearing my stuff, because
Yeah,
it's like I wanted to be there, but I'm there in a different way, you know?
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say that exactly. Like you created your own lane to still be in that same, arena, having relationships with NBA players, hoopers. So that's really dope. And then speaking of NBA players, they themselves have a huge fashion and
Exactly.
impact.
I, and I
Oh,
think the craziest part about that, oh, my bad for interrupting you. I think the craziest part about that is like NBA fashion has evolved so much, especially over the past couple of years, like with the how Instagram's blowing up, and like what they wear has been like so much more important,
yeah,
because like I've seen like after Shy wore our hoodie, he's like the fashion icon of hoop. Like they're like all those dudes like are like their fashion means so much now. Like it definitely did before, but like you remember like back in the day, like they would wear baggy jeans. Like now they're wearing like crazy outfits. So to see them wear some of my stuff, especially like in the runway and the hallway when they're like going into the game, like that's when all the pictures are getting taken. So that's like exposure from that is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna touch on, the NBA players and their fits too, because I know you sometimes post on your page. I see you dripped out in the.
Yeah, I'm trying.
And then you have your followers rate your fits. So I'm gonna have you rate a couple NBA players' fits.
All right, bet. I got you.
Okay, let me share my screen.
All right.
One. Let's see. Okay.
We rating it out of 10 or what?
Yeah, 10.
Okay,
for sure. Can you see that?
That's a 1.
That's a 1. He got the Balenciaga step in though.
Okay, Balenciagas are nice, but I don't know how I feel about the all pinstripe. I mean, I guess it's something I would wear. I might give that like a 5. I would probably wear something like that.
You would wear that?
Yeah, I would wear a whole pinstripe fit for sure.
Okay.
If I have a baseball jersey like that, I would probably do some shit like that. Look at that, a 5.
A 5, okay.
That's still not. That's more like some pool party stuff, though. I'm not wearing that to the game.
It's right. Like yeah. Okay, let's do the next one. We have one year. Oh shoot.
Ooh, that's very elite. That's very, very elite. I would probably give that a 10, damn near.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
That's a lovely fit right there.
Lovely.
He put it together with the jacket down to the shoes. Yeah, that's a tough fit. A very tough fit.
Alrighty.
I get out of 10.
10 out of 10. Last one.
Let me see.
Tobias Harris. Got the denim on denim. Can you see that?
It's like a 4. I don't know. I don't like I never liked the denim on denim look.
Yeah,
that's something I wore in like middle school.
Right.
But I like the Travis's and the Kiss shirt's kind of hard.
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse, like I give it like a 4.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of that fit.
No, yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Okay.
What do you think of that one?
Like you said, denim on denim is kind of. Some people can pull it off. I don't know. Sometimes it's like OD.
Tobias isn't really that drippy though, so like I never like. You gotta have a different kind of drip to really go.
That's true. That's very true. Okay. So that was that. All right. So sports, they have that synergy of streetwear and sneakers. So obviously, even way back, Michael Jordan and his impact with the Jordan 1s, and that's huge now.
Yeah.
Or even, Russ, and to me, like Kelly Oubre, they have passion.
Oubre. Oubre goes crazy.
So with that synergy, I know you also have your sneaker business, Prettyboy Co. So we'll get into that now. So how did you even, get your interest in sneakers?
Well, I just always grew up liking shoes, and I was always like jealous of all the kids that had the Jordans. Yeah. And this was before Yeezy, so basically all the kids always had Jordans, and I never had a pair because my parents would never buy me them. They got me like these cheap, like Wilson little tennis shoes, and I just always wanted them. So I saved up like all my Christmas money, all my birthday money, and I got like I think my first pair of Jordans when I was like 13, or I was 12. I think I was 12. And then I really just started getting into it and like started realizing like you could resell. That's kind of like how my whole passion started. And then I started like going to stores. Like I live like down the street from a couple of shoe stores. Mm-hmm. So I would just like go down there like right after school and just hang out all day. Even though I wasn't buying any shoes, I didn't have any money. Yeah. I was just hanging out, just doing my thing. Right. So that was kind of like what got me involved with it. And then, it was just like, just the culture of it. Like I just thought it was cool. Like my parents would never let me wait outside for shoes until I turned 13. And then I could like start camping out and stuff and like getting all the new fresh shoes. And this was before the shoe game like was what it is today. Like it was cool, but it was it was still like a little bit quirky, like a little niche market back then.
Right. Yeah.
Now it's like at a whole different level.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
How did you get into, selling, trading, the whole reselling game?
In high school, like I started really growing the business. I'd get like 30, 50 Yeezys, and I would take them to SneakerCon, and I would sell them, trade them, and I'd come home with a good amount of money, and then I'd just do it all over again. I'd buy off people locally. I'd buy off the internet. I'd go to sneaker releases, get them for retail sometimes. And I just started slowly growing that. And then when I moved to LA, I started like I had to label it something because I started paying taxes. So I had to make it, I officially labeled it Prettyboy the Plug, because like Prettyboy Co, it just made sense.
Yeah.
So, and people are always wondering, like, I would sell shoes to like, sometimes like I sold shoes to an NFL player, and he was like, I want to shout your page out. I didn't even have a page to shout out. So I was like, man, let me start an Instagram page.
Yeah.
So I can kind of get this thing going. And so I started doing that, the Instagram page. And then like, I just started like posting whatever I got that weekend. Like, cause I get like shoes every day. Like people would either sell them to me, ship them to me, whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of people just like, people are like with shoes, like people like to recycle their shoes. Like they'll buy like a $500 shoe, wear it like 2 times and sell it off so they can get another $500 shoe. So I just get like a fresh inventory of shoes all the time, and people always wanted to see what I had. So I just posted on my page. Stuff started moving, and I started growing it. And then I started like linking up with like some of my homies from SOBX RB. We had camped out I camped out with shoes, like with Slimmy, like a long time ago. And this was before I had the page. And like, we started like, cause I had meant to give him like one of my hoodies, and we had just started talking then. And then like, we had linked up for some shoes, and I did like a giveaway with him for some Travis Scotts. And then like a lot of the followers from the page, like I did like a couple giveaways with like a couple people, and the followers started growing on the page, and like the sales started going up. And yeah, that's basically how I started it, and like the trajectory of it.
Okay, so you're not new to this at all.
Nah.
How did you get put on game though? How did you learn like the ins and outs?
I want to shout out my homie Cam. He put me on back in middle school, but like a lot of it was like I was self-taught. Like I spent so much time looking at shoes. Like I had the Kicks on Fire app on my phone, and I knew every name of every shoe and every release, every day it was coming out.
Wow.
I knew it like the back of my hand. Like I knew that stuff better than I knew the Spanish language that I had to speak in my Spanish class. I kid you not. Like I was glued to my phone, always looking at shoes, always finding out what shoes went for. And now they dropped like this app called StockX. You can know what everything goes for. You remember it off the top of your head. But before they had that, you had to know it off the top of your head, or you had to look it up on the internet. Yeah. So I slowly I just spent a lot of time, and there was a lot of years like I wasn't making money selling shoes. Like I was selling shoes at a loss, and it was more like just a learning process. And I was more of a collector. Like once it became a business, it was all about profit. Because I used to be too into shoes where I would get a shoe and I couldn't sell it because I liked it too much. And you can't do that if you want to make money selling shoes.
Supply.
Yeah, exactly. And I did that every single time I got a shoe. I was like, damn, like I'm not going to sell this. I got to wear this one. And like, you can't do that. Like you got to be able to sell stuff. So like, obviously it's cool to have a little collection and whatnot, but like, I think a lot of people try to resell and they end up just keeping everything they get. And that's definitely not the way to go. You got to be like, and I've gotten I've seen so many shoes in my life. I've had like so many different shoes from personally that it's like, for me, a shoe isn't like anything more than just something you could rock and like, it will look cool to outfit. Like it used to be like I had a shoe and I had like a gold like bar in my hand.
Right.
Like, I used to look at it, stare at it, like smell it. Like I would just like love shoes like back in the day. And now now it's more of a business to me, but I still really love shoes. I have a passion for it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's crazy your journey because you talk about how you barely even had your Instagram page for it, and now has so many, followers and attention. So how did you gain traction on that?
Shout outs from like some of my clients, like some more celebrity clientele. Shout outs from them was like super huge. Like I remember I sold LaMelo some Yeezy 500s, and he had posted a shout out on his story or something, and we got like 3,000 followers or something. So just like shout outs from people. But honestly, like the best way to authentically grow followers is like just post good deals and like be legit. Like people, word of mouth is crazy. Like I've got so many referrals from people just because my customer service is always going to be top notch. Like I'm always going to hold down my customer and make sure my customer is happy. Like make sure their shoe arrives, make sure that they liked everything. Like I'm always following up with them and making sure, because you can never take a customer for granted, and you always want to like treat them with respect and be nice to them, because you never know how far that can get you.
Right.
So like just being respectful to people and like being just genuine and nice, I feel like has been like another way that I've grown my page and like grown my like sales and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Customer service, just relationship with people, I feel like can go such a long way.
Exactly.
It's crazy. But as far as sneaker reselling, I know that there's like so much that goes into it beyond like what the average person thinks.
Yeah.
So how did you learn about, specific, like the ins and outs, like supply and demand, assessing the
I'm gonna
market?
break it down for you.
Yeah, break it down for the people.
All right. Well, like with shoes, like it's kind of a learning process. Like for a while, like I didn't really know. I wasn't all too like I knew like if it was a Jordan, it would resell for sure. So like a lot of times there's like no brainer resell like items like Yeezys, Jordans. Yeezys not really as much anymore. That's a common mistake people think. They think just because it's a Yeezy that it's gonna sell for money. Nah, it's probably not. So like just kind of like a lot of experience and a lot of like mistakes. Like I bought many shoes for way more than I should have, and I've lost money. And I've kind of like slowly over that time, like I've learned what styles sell well. Like a shoe like a Jordan 11 will always sell for a good amount because it's a classic shoe, and it's a really nice shoe. I've never had a problem selling those. Jordan 1s, the same kind of thing. So just learning, and if you're starting off like as a reseller, like I would only get like certain styles that sold well, because I wasn't like able to trust like a random shoe. Like I don't know if that'll sell. But once I build up my following, I knew that every shoe I got I could sell somehow. So it was more just like getting it for the right price.
Okay.
And everything you can sell if you get it for the right price. That's what I like to tell people, because some people forget that. Like they think, oh, this is like a hyper dunk, I can't sell it.
Yeah.
You can sell it if you get it for $10 because somebody's gonna buy it for 20. So like just thinking like that has helped me really grow my business, because I used to be so obsessed with only having Yeezys, only having Jordans. But like a lot of the regular customers, they like Ultra Boost and like regular shoes, like New Balances and like Adidas Sambas. Like people like other shoes that are cheap and like stuff you can get at the store. But if I have it for less, they're gonna fuck with me over Adidas or Nike. So just being able to have like a versatile inventory, and I never have a problem taking like a random shoe or like a shoe that's not like considered like heat, because that stuff honestly doesn't sell as well and you don't make as much because the market for it is so like stable, if that makes sense. So like an off-white always is gonna go for a lot, so nobody's gonna sell you an off-white for a good price. So you're not gonna make any money. Like, you might make $50, $100, but you really want to make some money. Like get a shoe that's not that popular for really cheap and sell it for like a good price, and you'll make some profit. So kind of like just like analyzing what's selling, but at the same time like realizing that, okay, this shoe, like I've seen some people wearing this shoe, I can sell this shoe. So like I'm always looking at people's feet when they're like rocking. I'm like, what is he wearing? Okay, like Converse. Okay, like if I have a Converse, I could sell it, even if it's like $40 shoe. If you get it for 20, you're still making $20. So you got to think like everything you can make money on within reason. I know.
So tell me a little bit about like buying and selling in bulk or buying used shoes, like stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, I think used shoes is like a sleeper as far as reselling, because people always think people only want new shoes. Nah, people really like used shoes because it's a good discount, and especially if it's good condition. Like somebody's not gonna trip if a shoe is worn one time and there's barely any signs of wear. So selling used shoes, you can like, there's really good profit margins with used shoes, just because people that are selling them are usually willing to negotiate a lot more because it's used, and people that are buying them really don't care.
Yeah.
So the used market is like pretty crazy as far as profitability. Like it's more work to sell a used shoe because you got to take a lot of pictures and everything, but it's definitely more profitable in my opinion than new shoes. What was the other question?
Like buying and selling in bulk.
Oh yeah, bulk. Buying in bulk is always a good idea if you can get it for the right price. Like if you know one style or one item is going to sell for X amount of money, and you can buy 50 of them or 20 of them at a store, like you might as well clear out that store if you have the funds to do so.
Yeah.
So, for example, like I get lucky sometimes, and I'll find like certain shoes sitting at stores, and I'll just go and get every pair because why not? You know, you're gonna be able to make money on them. Like just because it's 20 size 10s or 20 size 12s, like there's still hundreds and thousands of people out there looking for that specific shoe. So buying in bulk is always a good idea. You can find like bulk sellers too, and people that will sell you like a collection. Like I like to buy collections for that reason, because people definitely were willing to negotiate on the price. Like for example, like I bought one collection for like $15,000, and he negotiated a lot because I was taking so many shoes, like 100 something shoes. Like that's a lot of shoes. People want to get rid of that. So like they're willing to negotiate on the price a little bit more than if they're selling one shoe.
Okay.
Yeah. So wholesale is definitely like, if you can get a collection, like that's one of my reseller recommendations, because like people will always like, collectors don't really care as much about what they get for each shoe as much as they do about the total price. Like, as long as the total price is somewhat reasonable, like you can end up getting a pretty good deal if you break it down. And then you just break it down and sell each shoe individually. Like I never have been a fan of selling shoes in bulk, just because you always get less than if you sell it individually. Like if you have the infrastructure for it, selling shoes individually is always the way to go.
What's the biggest shift that you've seen in the game from, when you started to now?
I've probably seen like the most random, the thing I've seen the most crazy part about this whole thing, the whole way the shoe game has changed, is the most random kids are starting to come with some heat. Like I'll see some random kids in some Travis Scotts or some Off-Whites and some Yeezys. Like every kid has Yeezys now at this point, especially at LMU.
Right.
Yeah, you see everybody walking along with some Yeezys. Like it used to be like I was the only kid at school that had Yeezys in high school, and now every kid has Yeezys. So I think it's just been the shift of like how Yeezys have been more obtainable, and I think overall just getting like a nice shoe has been more obtainable because there's so many of them now. And it used to be like coveted and only like sneakerheads that really knew would get them, but now everybody's all of a sudden a sneakerhead, and all of a sudden like shoes. Like I have like random kids hitting me up, all of a sudden they're like Jordan 1s, like like I don't know, like it's, for me it's weird, like because I've always been a fan. Like I've been a sneakerhead since I was a little kid, and seeing all these new people to the game, I think it's weird, but I think it's also cool, like that everybody's starting to get like and appreciate the culture, because it is dope. It's very expensive hobby, but if you have the money to do so, or even if you have just some extra money, you might as well get a 5 pair of shoes, because it's like getting a haircut. Like you just feel confident. And like
I'm sure. Well, now it's definitely more. It's easier to cop shoes with apps like StockX, Go, and even stores like Flight Club. So why, like, how do you match up against that competition? Why
you gotta use Go for on StockX? So they're gonna show you the app a lot of the time, but a lot of the things I like about my customers, they trust me that I'm gonna have a fair price. They don't need to check the apps because they know my price is probably gonna be better than those apps regardless. So just making sure your price is competitive. Now, like it used to be different, like before that stuff, like I was selling shoes before all those apps and everything. There was no place to check what shoes went for. You just sold them.
Yeah.
and you got what you wanted. So I like selling the shoes back in the day a little bit more before all these apps and everything. Like it's kind of annoying now. Everybody wants to nickel and dime you for like $5 because it's
Yeah.
$5 cheaper on StockX. But people don't realize when you buy those shoes at Flight Club, StockX, Go, whatever, especially at StockX and Go, it's going to take 3-4 weeks to get to you, and they're going to have they're going to charge you tax. They're going to charge you processing fees. They're going to charge you shipping. Like
Yeah.
when you shop with me, you only get charged shipping. So
Mhm.
for me, that's a big savings already. So, and you're gonna get your shoe in 2 to 3 days.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I think having that's a big advantage for me. And I think just having a loyal customer base, like I have customers that only shop with me, like people that literally spend thousands of dollars a month on shoes and drip with me
Mhm.
just because they trust me and they know I'm gonna have good prices and I'm gonna have good stuff for them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I mean, apps like sneakers, like that last
Yeah.
one, drop with the royal toes. I know
Get
everyone
those?
wanted those. Huh?
Did you get those?
No, I did. I personally didn't even want them, but I know a lot of people took an L on that. They went out sad.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
things like that with the app, like it's not always reliable, but if you have a plug, then it's like,
Yeah. For me, like I've always been the type, even for my personal shoes, like I don't get anything for retail anymore.
mm,
Like I don't have that privilege anymore.
yeah,
So I'm always the type of guy, I'm gonna get my sleep. I'm not gonna wake up for sneakers because
yeah,
that's a pipe dream. You're gonna lose 80-90% of the time
yeah,
and you're gonna be mad. I'd rather just get the extra 100 out and hand over the extra 100 and
yeah,
no one be happy on release day and not even show of it. Because people don't understand, like they'll spend 2 days a day camping out for a shoe or going to raffles and doing all that stuff. You could just work that day, literally make that 100 and know you're gonna have your shoe instead of worrying about if you're gonna have your shoe or worrying about if you're gonna have whatever.
yeah,
So I think a lot of people have started to accept that and they'll be like, okay, it's gonna be 250 on resale, cool, like I've got it, I'll
yeah,
release it. And like it's less about like if you get it for retail, you're just lucky at this point. It's not about like I have to get it for retail. There's some people like that, but for me, I'm not like that. I'll just buy what it goes for, and if I want it, like
yeah.
if I want it, I want it. That's just how
Yeah.
I feel.
So then how do you feel about bots? Because I feel like that's also
Bots are it's dope. I think they're cool. I think they're messed up, kinda, but they're just people that are really smart. Like
yeah,
I have some friends that do botting and they're doing very well for themselves. So to see their success, like it makes me happy.
yeah,
And I mean, I definitely people are mad, like people that want one shoe, but this business has become so much about money that bots are inevitable, and the dudes that make the bots they're geniuses. Like
yeah,
they have like the knowledge and stuff they have is ridiculous. So to I think they're just making money off being smart, in my opinion. So I
yeah,
got nothing but respect for them. It is a little messed up, but I mean, it's the same as resellers going and getting 50 pairs of the shoes when they come out at the store. So I feel like people can be salty, but the people that are doing the bots are the ones really making money. Like they're the ones like that are doing well for themselves compared to like people that run around and go to all the stores. Like, nah, they're not eating like the dudes that get the bots. Like guys that get bots are getting hundreds and hundreds of
yeah.
shoes every release.
It's a whole nother story.
Yeah, exactly.
So how do you personally authenticate since, like we mentioned, apps like StockX, they already have that, built into their platform. So how do you make sure your clients are getting authentic?
Yeah. So, well, like for my shoes, like I have like a specific label I put on them, like a new one or a used one. I'll show you. I think I have one like this. You see this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'll put this on shoes only after it's been authenticated. Like I personally authenticate every shoe I sell.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, it takes a lot of knowledge. Like I've made the mistake and I bought fakes before, I'll admit it,
Mm-hmm.
but the fakes never go for sale because I value my customers. I never want to do a customer dirty. So I just have to eat the loss a lot of the time. But I've gotten so good at authenticating. Like I want to jinx myself, but I've gotten so good at authenticating shoes that it's very easy for me to spot a fake now. Like there's a lot of certain things like with materials, like a Yeezy, like a lot of shoes I can just tell off the smell. Like you can like fake smell so bad that it's so easy to like tell right away if it's fake. And if I feel like at all sus about a shoe or anything, I'm not buying it because I don't want to take that risk of selling a fake to a customer.
Yeah.
Because that really will burn your reputation. Like I've seen resellers that were doing very well for themselves, and then they start getting caught selling fakes, and the whole thing goes downhill. Yeah. So making sure a product is authentic is probably like the number one thing, because you're selling fake products, like you know better than anybody else selling fake products. So and the problem with shoes now is everybody and their mama is selling fake shoes. So you got to be really careful, like when you're buying shoes, especially from a non-trusted source. I think that's why people like to go to me, because like, yes, it's still an Instagram seller, still somebody that's like on their own without a store, but like I have a reputation that I built up myself of selling only legit stuff. And not many people can say that for themselves. Like a lot of people might sell a shoe or two like a year. Like a lot of people aren't going to trust that, you know?
Yeah.
So just making sure the product is authentic, 100% like the number one priority for me. And like knowing how to legit check, like it's taken me a lot of time, like seeing certain shoes, learning how they smell, like just watching tutorial videos and just like learning from like friends at Flight Club, friends at like Go, and just seeing like how they authenticate shoes and like what they look for is big.
Yeah. I mean, been in the game for a while now, and you also, again, you have clientele that shop from you, NBA players. So that in itself speaks volumes. Very credible, well connected. So moving on, I want to have your take on this. Do you think that because you are a sneakerhead, you sell shoes, do you think that people should know the history behind shoes to a certain extent if they wear it?
Okay, I'm mixed about this. In my opinion, if you have the money to buy the sneaker, you should be able to have the sneaker, in my opinion. But it does kind of get on my nerves a little bit when I sell shoes to people and they have no knowledge of the sneaker, no knowledge of the history, and they're just trying to, you know, whatever. But honestly, I think it's gotten to a point in the game, as I touched a little bit earlier, that there's so many new heads in the game that they really aren't going to know might not know too much about Michael Jordan, might not know 5 songs from Kanye West, but they're going to have his shoe. So it's gotten to the point where a lot of streetwear shoes have become more like designer. And I can't say I know a lot about the owner of Balenciaga. I can't say I know a lot about the owner of Louis Vuitton. Like, I don't know. Like, I know Virgil designs it, but that's not it. So I kind of think about it like that. Like, it is kind of sad, but at the same time, like, it's just what the game has become. Like, it's about money at this point. Like, a lot of greedy people out there, a lot of people that want to flex and show off, and like having some fly shoes is definitely a good way to show off. So,
Okay. Well, do you mind if I quiz you then?
Go ahead.
Okay. So I have 2 questions, you know, some sneaker history. First one, who is Phil Knight?
Phil Knight's the owner of Nike, duh.
Okay.
Or he founded Nike, whatever.
What country is Adidas from?
Germany.
Yeah. What 2 teams did Michael Jordan play for?
He played for the Bulls and the Wizards.
Yeah. Who is Adolf Dassler?
Who?
Adolf Dassler. Founded Adidas.
Damn. Okay. I did not know that. I did not know that. Good one.
What state is Nike from?
Portland.
Yeah. What other companies do Nike own?
Nike owns Converse.
Yes. What number of Air Jordans are you currently on?
34.
Yep, 34. So what company did Kobe sign with initially and then retire with?
Adidas.
And then he retired with?
Nike.
Okay. Last one. What is the first colorway of the Yeezy 350s?
The Turtle Dove.
Yeah.
And I had those.
Okay.
What was that, 8 for 9 or 8 for 8?
Yep,
or 8 for 8?
Not bad. Not too shabby.
Okay.
You know
Come on. Yeah, I gotta know my stuff. Damn, I'll get a little disappointed in myself. I'm surprised. I'm kind of mad I didn't know that Adidas one, but I guess give me a pass on that one.
Yeah.
You probably didn't even know that one.
I didn't. It's okay. So what do you think, we talk about, Yeezys, Jordans, what do you think creates certain hype over those shoes?
It's just like celebrities, influencers, Kylie's throwing the Yeezys on, or back in the day when all those people, Kardashians are throwing the Yeezys on. Like, a lot of people just look to their influence and for them to wear them, and they're coming out for a relatively affordable price for shoes nowadays, $200.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like basically getting designer shoes for a lot less. So I think that's kind of why they're so coveted and stuff now. And I think they've always been coveted. Like, when I was a kid, I remember I had bought some my first pair of like ridiculously expensive shoes. I'll never do this again, but I bought the Yeezy 2s, the platinum ones, and I think I spent like $2,000 on them. Like, yeah, and that was when I should have never ever done something that stupid. But though that was before the sneaker game really took off.
Yeah.
So the Yeezys have always gone for a lot because they're so limited. They're so like, the design is so influential. They just have like a lot of pull with that.
Mm-hmm. So then with quarantine and everything, have you seen any shifts with like people not as willing to purchase?
I think people haven't really been tripping. I think people still want the drip. I don't know. I thought it would be a little different, but I think with the unemployment stimulus checks coming in, people still have money to blow, and one of the first things they always like to spend it on is sneakers and clothes. So I think the streetwear business has been pretty solid recently. I was honestly a little surprised, but I think it's been good.
That's good. Yeah, I guess people want to stay dripped out.
Yeah, if you want to stay fly for the house, I don't know.
Right. So then lastly, how do you see reselling playing out in, the near future? What do you predict?
I see it as like, I see it just going to keep growing. I think it might see a little dip, like just like once the pandemic really, really starts taking effect on people. Like, obviously it is already like high unemployment, people lost jobs and whatever. But I think like if things don't like, but at the same time, like, people are starting to go outside again. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to keep growing. I think it was a trend for a while. I thought it would just be a trend, but it's become like such a staple in fashion that it's more than just a trend. Like, it's really like every teen wants to have some Supreme or have some Bape and have some Yeezys or some Off-Whites or some Jordans. Like, I think it's just like it's just a way to be fly, and like dressing up and like wearing clothes and stuff is just a cool way to express yourself, and you're having this cool like sense of style is always like something that's cool. So I think that's not going to change anytime soon.
Okay.
Personally.
Yeah, that's good. So we'll end it off with a little speed round. And
okay, cool.
Number one, what's your favorite pair of sneakers that you own?
Tough one. Right now it's the Purple Lobster SBs.
Ooh, those are tough.
But actually, no, it's the Palm Angel Silkies. I wear those every day.
Okay.
They're like slides, but like with straps on them. Take that back.
2, Nike or Adidas?
Nike.
Yeah.
Come on.
Stripes.
Yeah.
3, who's the dopest person that you've done business with?
Dopest, like, as far as an individual?
Yeah.
That's a tough one. Who's real solid? I'm trying to think. Oh, T Grizzly. Mad cool.
Recent giveaway with him, right?
Yeah. He's mad cool. I would say he's a solid dude. Like, he doesn't have like crazy sneaker knowledge, but like definitely a nice guy, real down to earth, just genuine dude. I thought he was super cool. So T Grizzly for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
How would you rank the Jordans? Like 1 through 5 slots to put them in,
Oh, get my top 5.
Yeah.
Number 1, it's just a nostalgia thing. I won't ever have a pair again. Probably it's not really shock and rock anymore. But Jordan 11, number 1, in my opinion. Jordan 1, number 2, Jordan 4, number 3, Jordan 3, number 4, and then Jordan 7, number 5.
Okay.
I've always liked 7. Only reason I put the 7 in there is because that was my first pair of Jordans, the Olympic 7s, and I just really like Jordans 7s. Like, I think they're clean.
Yeah. So, 6. What is a shoe release that you're really anticipating?
Good question. I really like those off-white 4s. I might have to get those. The white ones, the all-white ones. That might be like my next off-white purchase. Or I just saw they had like some gold off-white forces coming out. Somebody had posted that. So if those come out, I'm gonna have to get those.
You're copping?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then last one. What's your favorite piece from Prettyboy Co brand?
Probably either. I would say for sure the all over script Anorak. Like, that was like our first like cut and sew piece we made ever, and it has like all over print on it, and it looks kind of like, I just thought that jacket was sick.
Yeah.
And it's always something I'd wanted to do since I started the brand, and like we finally got to a place where we could like release a jacket like that like a year or two ago. So that's probably my favorite. Yeah.
That's really cool. And then lastly, very last thing, I always let my guests at the end put us on. So it could be, you know, music artist, restaurant, whatever you're on or have been on. You can.
Oh, Blue Bucks Clan. That's all I've been listening to. So go type in to their music. I haven't been eating anything really crazy recently, but yeah, Blue Bucks Clan.
They're up next for sure.
Up next for sure. That's my new favorite group right now. All I've been listening to. So that's probably like, sure.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, that leaves us with, you can let us know your socials, all that.
Oh yeah. If you want to follow, like, my regular Instagram is Prettyboy Matts. Prettyboy the Plug for all your shoe needs. Yeah. And then Prettyboy Co. For all your clothing needs and apparel needs. But I also get clothes on the Prettyboy the Plug page, like designer, Supreme, hypebeast stuff. So if you need any of that, tap in. Thank you, Chloe, for having me. I appreciate it. It's a pleasure.
Thank you for joining. Like you said, tap in with Matts. I'm gonna link his socials down below. I know y'all need the gear, the shoe plug. So
you need the grip.
Yep. So hit them up. And then lastly, subscribe to this channel, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and you can also follow me on Instagram at Chloclark. I'll update you all with podcast content. But yeah, that's it for now, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.